American cars have shaped culture and set the standards for performance, reliability, and design. From music videos, to movies, to celebrity driveways, America has always been one step ahead. And in the early 2000s, this was no different. Take a look at the 2005 Ford GT. Ford shocked the world when they revived the GT40 spirit with the 2005 Ford GT. It wasn't just a tribute, it was a proper supercar that could stand wheel-to-wheel with Ferraris and Lamborghinis. With a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 pumping out 550 horsepower, the GT wasn't about chasing top-speed records like the Veyron, but about delivering raw, analog driving thrills. It handled like a race car, but had the presence of an American icon reborn. The best part? Ford didn't just build a museum piece, they made a car people could actually buy and drive. Sure, it wasn't cheap, but it was far more accessible than the exotic machines from Europe. The GT proved America could play in the big leagues without sacrificing heritage. But Ford didn't stop there. In the same year, Ford dropped something even greater, an American muscle classic like no other, everyone's favorite, the Ford Mustang. Specifically, the 5th generation. Few cars lit up the 2000s like the reborn Ford Mustang. The 5th generation launched in 2005, and its retro styling hit all the right notes. Inspired by the Mustangs of the late 60s, it looked mean, muscular, and timeless. The car immediately connected with enthusiasts, young and old, kicking off a massive Mustang revival. Performance didn't disappoint either. With V6 and V8 options, the Mustang appealed to a wide audience. Special editions like the Shelby GT 500 pushed things into supercar territory, bringing back the glory days of muscle. The Mustang wasn't just a car, it was a cultural moment, appearing in movies, music videos, and driveways across America. It reminded everyone that some legends never fade. And just as Ford leaned on heritage, Chevrolet kept its heritage going 4 years later, with the 5th generation of the Chevrolet Camaro. After going on hiatus, the Camaro stormed back in 2009 with retro-inspired styling that brought muscle car fans to their feet. The 5th generation Camaro drew heavily from its late 60s roots, but packed in modern engineering. The aggressive stance, wide body, and sharp lines made it instantly recognizable. And it didn't take long before it started dominating both sales charts and movie screens. Performance was just as bold as its looks, with V6 and V8 options, including the SS, that delivered serious muscle. The Camaro gave drivers choices. What made it truly dominate, though, was how it reignited the muscle car wars with Ford's Mustang and Dodge's Charger. Suddenly, Detroit was in a three-way battle again, and fans couldn't get enough. The Camaro's rebirth reminded everyone that muscle wasn't going anywhere. And speaking of Chevrolet, they actually dropped a different model a few years before the Camaro. And let's just say, they did not disappoint. But before I reveal that to you, make sure you race to the subscribe button, as we are incredibly close to 2,000 subscribers. Now, back to Chevrolet. The Corvette Z06 of 2006 proved that America didn't need turbos or high-tech computers to dominate. With a 7-liter naturally aspirated LS, 7 volts 8 making 505 horsepower, it was raw power at its finest. Lightweight and built with track performance in mind, the Z06 became one of the most capable sports cars of the decade. It wasn't just about power, it was about value. For the price of a Porsche Cayman, you could have a car that ran neck and neck with Ferraris on the track. The Z06 made European exotics sweat while keeping its American muscle roots intact. And in the same year Chevrolet dropped the 2009 Camaro, they also dropped a different Corvette, and once again, they absolutely killed it. The Corvette ZR1 came back in 2009 like a thunderclap. Chevy took the already potent C6 Corvette and strapped on a supercharged 6.2-liter LS9 V8 that pumped out 638 horsepower. Suddenly, America had a car that could hang with the likes of Ferrari and Lamborghini without costing $500,000. With a top speed over 200 miles per hour, it became one of the most serious performance bargains of the entire decade. What made the ZR1 special wasn't just its raw power, it was the engineering behind it. Carbon fiber body panels, magnetic ride control, and massive Brembo brakes turned the ZR1 into a track weapon. Yet, you could still drive it comfortably on the highway. It represented the absolute peak of what the Corvette could do in the 2000s. And while Chevy flexed brute power, Dodge made waves with the return of the Charger. When Dodge brought the Charger name back in 2006, it didn't return as a two-door muscle coupe, but as a big, bold sedan. Some purists were upset, but Dodge didn't care. They built a car that packed modern aggression with retro muscle vibes. With available Hemi V8 power under the hood, the Charger was loud, fast, and unapologetic. The design was intimidating, with a wide stance and muscular body lines. It became popular not just with enthusiasts, but also with police departments across the US, cementing its reputation as a powerful sedan. The Charger reminded the world that muscle cars didn't have to be stuck in the past. They could evolve into new shapes and still carry serious performance. And if the Charger was about brute American force, the Viper was also worth talking about. The Dodge Viper didn't do subtle. In the 2000s, it evolved into the SRT-10, shedding weight and adding even more raw power. Its 8.3-liter V10 roared with 500 horsepower, and there were no electronic aids to save you if things went wrong. This was pure American muscle in its most unfiltered form. It scared drivers as much as it thrilled them, and that's exactly why it became a legend. The Viper dominated conversations because it was untamed in an era when most cars were getting more polished and refined. With its long hood, side exhausts, and aggressive styling, it looked like it wanted to eat everything in its path. It wasn't the everyday sports car. It was the weekend monster you bragged about surviving. The Viper showed that sometimes danger itself was the selling point. And if Dodge was bringing fear, Pontiac was quietly bringing perfection. When Pontiac brought back the GTO in the mid-2000s, enthusiasts had mixed feelings. On one hand, it wasn't as flashy as the muscle cars of old. On the other, it packed serious performance thanks to its LS1 and later LS2 V8 engines. With 350 to 400 horsepower, it was a true performance bargain hiding under a relatively plain exterior. The GTO dominated because it delivered where it counted: speed. It might not have looked wild, but on the drag strip, it left plenty of rivals in the dust. It showed that American muscle was alive and well, even if Pontiac itself wouldn't survive the decade. The GTO kept the flame burning for enthusiasts who wanted raw V8 power. And while Pontiac delivered understated muscle, Cadillac put Europeans back in their place. The Cadillac CTS-V arrived in 2004 and instantly told the world that Cadillac wasn't just about soft-riding luxury anymore. Packing a Corvette-sourced V8 under the hood, the CTS-V was a full-on performance sedan that could hang with the Germans. With over 400 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, and a manual transmission, it shocked people who thought Cadillac was only for retirees. The CTS-V dominated because it changed perceptions. It showed that an American luxury brand could compete with BMW's M Division and Mercedes-AMG. The angular art and science design gave it a futuristic edge, while the performance left tire marks in its wake. Cadillac had attitude again, and enthusiasts loved it. The CTS-V proved reinvention was possible, but while Cadillac had Europeans shaking, Chrysler was setting the standard for design and performance. The Chrysler 300C arrived in 2004 and immediately commanded attention. With its tall grille, muscular stance, and Bentley-like profile, it looked like a luxury car without the six-figure price tag. Under the hood, buyers could choose Hemi V8 power, giving it the muscle to back up its bold looks. Suddenly, Chrysler had a hit that appealed to both enthusiasts and families. The 300C dominated in part because of its cultural impact. It became a favorite in music videos, movies, and celebrity driveways. People loved the way it looked, the space it offered, and the power it delivered. Chrysler had taken a gamble on a bold design, and it paid off in a big way. The 300C showed that mainstream American sedans could be cool again, and Chrysler didn't stop there, because the PT Cruiser was also a staple for the 2000s. Not every 2000s car was about lap times or horsepower. Some dominated by capturing a unique cultural moment. Enter the Chrysler PT Cruiser, launched in 2000. With its retro styling and quirky charm, it became an instant hit. Families, young drivers, and even tuners found reasons to love it. It wasn't fast, it wasn't exotic, but it was everywhere. The PT Cruiser represented how car culture in the 2000s wasn't just about performance, it was about identity. Its customizable nature made it a favorite for mods, and its affordable price meant it reached all kinds of buyers. While it doesn't hold the same prestige as a Veyron or Carrera GT, it defined the era in its own way. And just as Chrysler tapped into nostalgia, Jeep tapped into off-road domination. The Jeep Wrangler of the 2000s wasn't chasing lap times, it was chasing trails. With its iconic boxy design, removable doors, and serious off-road capability. It became the go-to adventure vehicle for an entire generation. Whether it was beach cruising, rock crawling, or daily commuting, the Wrangler had a loyal following that only grew stronger through the decade. The 2000s marked the transition from the TJ to the JK, and the latter brought more refinement while keeping the rugged spirit alive. Four-door Wranglers expanded its audience, suddenly making it a family-friendly option without losing its off-road roots. It dominated not because it was fast or luxurious, but because it was authentic. The Wrangler represented freedom in its purest form. But Jeep wasn't the only one, because Hummer also had a go at making something incredibly powerful. Except this one caught the eyes of every single celebrity. Few vehicles turned heads in the 2000s quite like the Hummer H2. Massive, boxy, and unapologetically bold, it became the ultimate status SUV of the decade. Powered by a big V8, it wasn't about speed, it was about presence. Everywhere it went, the H2 demanded attention. The H2 dominated because it symbolized excess in the 2000s. Celebrities loved it, tuners modified it, and off-roaders appreciated its ruggedness. It wasn't practical, but that wasn't the point. It represented a cultural moment when bigger truly felt better. The H2 captured the spirit of the 2000s in all its over-the-top glory. But let's go back to Ford, because in 2006, they did it again. The Ford Fusion wasn't flashy, but it was a quiet giant in the 2000s. Launched in 2006, it filled the gap between compact and mid-size sedans with a stylish design and a wide range of trims. It quickly became a hit among families who wanted something practical but modern. Ford also offered hybrid versions later, showing they were keeping an eye on efficiency trends. The Fusion dominated because it appealed to everyone. It was affordable, reliable, and good-looking, without being boring. Fleet buyers loved it, commuters trusted it, and it even gave Toyota and Honda some serious competition in the mid-size sedan market. The Fusion might not have been a halo car, but it proved that dominance in the 2000s wasn't always about speed. And while Ford built practical sedans, Tesla was crafting pure innovation that no one saw coming. The Tesla Roadster might not have had the refinement of established sports cars, but it changed everything. Launched in 2008, it was the first electric car that people actually wanted. Built on a Lotus Elise chassis, it delivered instant torque, a 200-plus mile range, and zero emissions. It was quirky, yes, but it proved that electric cars could be fun and fast. The Roadster dominated because it was the start of a revolution. It showed that EVs weren't limited to city commuters, they could be proper performance machines. Elon Musk and Tesla used the Roadster to kick off a movement that would change the industry forever. Looking back, it wasn't perfect, but it was groundbreaking. But while some American car brands changed the culture, others actually disappeared. I actually made a full video on the 20 different American brands that completely vanished, and you can watch that now by clicking the video on screen.